Hi everyone, I'm Samantha Weezer, our Smart Dog Marketing Manager. Today we'll be showing Understanding Oracle EBS Licenses. Take control of your Oracle licensing. Presenting will be our very own Mihir Patel. His bio: Oracle Apps and Technology since 1998, R10.7 SC, A.T. Kearney and EDS Partnership. Architected Dell's Global Oracle EBS Financial Systems. Senior Director of Architecture Strategy at Smart Dog since 2008. Expertise in complex Oracle architectures and associated license implications. And lastly, he lives in Austin, Texas. I'll be passing this over to Mihir Patel now.
With their license assessments that Smart Dog team has done and conducted over the past year. And this is specifically designed to help customers with the challenges they face in managing their Oracle ERP asset. So we've created a 5-part presentation that we will be going through today. So we'll be discussing why you need to understand Oracle's e-business licensing. EBS licensing models can have a big impact on your entitlements. How customizations in eBusiness Suite can have a big impact on your license consumption. Common errors that companies make with their eBusiness Suite licenses. And how companies can proactively manage EBS licenses into the future. So Chapter 1, why you need to understand Oracle's EBS licensing. So Oracle, here's a 20-year brief summary of Oracle's eBusiness Suite ERPs that Oracle Corporation's released over the past 20 years. We started out with Release 10, 10.7 NCA, Smart Client. Then we moved on to Release 11, 11.5, 10.2, 12, 12.06, and currently 12.2. And through those years, Oracle has adapted the various licensing models to support the underlying changes that the software delivered to the customers. So essentially, the Oracle licensing models have evolved over time as underlying capabilities of the ERP software evolved, right? So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be discussing each one of these different licensing models in depth. So changes in the EBS licensing model. Sorry for the eyesore, but there's quite a bit of information. So on your left, you have all the various different license factors that kind of governed each one of these license metrics when they were in play. The concurrent user, the professional user, and professional user external, those are really legacy license models. A lot of customers still have those in play, and they're still valid. It's just that we need to ensure we properly understand how to manage those licenses. And then the current licensing model, which is a component and custom application suite and or enterprise application license model. So each one of these license models had different time frames in which they were applicable, and it all depends on when various customers bought the software in terms of which model governs your entitlements today. So I always refer customers back to their contracts. Check your contracts for specifics so you fully understand what license metrics govern your particular usage of Oracle eBusiness Suite. Especially if you're a long-term EBS customer, you've been using Oracle eBusiness Suite for the past 15, 20 years. It's really good to ensure that you have a good understanding of how those licenses are governed. So the concurrent user license, let's see. So we'll go into in-depth in subsequent chapters, but essentially the concurrent user license was a great license model. It was a fair usage license model. You basically measured the full concurrent usage of all users that were accessing the system at a particular point in time. It was great for companies that were global, that wanted to have usage based on concurrency, so that if you had like 500 people during the daytime and 500 people at nighttime, different shifts, you only had to license based on peak concurrency. And we'll go into a little bit more in regards to that in subsequent slides. Next came the professional user license. So Oracle, as more products started to get released as a part of release 11 and 11i, tail end of 11, really beginning of 11i, Oracle released a whole bunch of new product capabilities and features, and what they found was that they wanted to grow their install base with their customers in the small and medium-sized companies, et cetera. So they created this licensing model for professional user suite, and it subsequently was changed to professional user 2003, and we'll discuss that further as well. But when they introduced this, they also introduced the concept of not only a user-based model, but also an external user model, and we'll discuss that a little bit further. And there are different minimums that applied to this license model. So customers are required to maintain a professional user licenses of at least 10% of the employee population, and a combination of professional users and employee user licenses of at least 20% of your employee population. So you took your professional users and your employee users, and then you looked at your employee population, and you had to maintain up to at least 20%. And that was really around the professional user license metric. When Oracle subsequently changed that in April of 2003 and introduced the professional user 2003 license metric, those minimums kind of adjusted, and we'll talk about that as well. And then over time, Oracle introduced the current license models that are in play today. These license models, the component, the custom application suite, and the enterprise application license models have essentially been around for 10 years now. They were kind of introduced in 2006, and they're in play as of today. So with component based, it's based on the end user's usage of the products without overlapping usage of among users. So unlike the suite where you had one user with having access to multiple application products, the component model really broke that apart. So if you're a financials user, you need a financials license. If you're an order management user, you needed an order management license. So it's it's really a per use license consumption model. And then the other thing that Oracle introduced at that time also was the user and usage-based license concept as well. In that regard, that this was really when it really started to take hold. It was really introduced earlier, but really starting to take hold, and when the component license model was introduced, and it broke the application users apart from certain areas of the modules that were usage-based. And we'll discuss that further. So there's distinct license metrics for each product, such as application users, customer, etc. And then pricing was based on the modules individually. And there's always minimums and those things defined for each one of these product lines. So certain products had a minimum requirement of 10 users, 100,000 lines, just depended on the module in terms of what those license minimums were. The next level up, Oracle is like, a lot of customers want to mix and match capabilities as it relates to these products. So they allowed customers to create their own custom application suites, and those custom solutions were really beneficial to customers in the sense that they could define, hey, I want financials, I want order management, inventory, etc. But when I combine all of these modules, I want them to act as a single license model. So if a user has access to one or any of these modules, they're simply counted as one usage. So it was really good for customers to have that capability, so they could get broader depth and usage across the e-business suite, and not have to license each module or capability independently. So this is calculated on a per user list total, and then there's some discounts and stuff applied is how Oracle did that. And it's actually a custom suite user license metric. And there were also prerequisites and whatnot that applied as well. And then the last one is enterprise. This is where the whole company can license. The actual usage is not accounted, right? So we're basing it based on some revenue, cost of goods sold, et cetera, types of license metrics. So it's all you can eat. And it's simply based on a company's revenues and things like that. So there are a total of 5 licensing metrics. 4 usage-based metrics, so enterprise revenue, enterprise operating budget, cost of goods sold, etc., and then a enterprise employee metric. There were minimums that customers had to comply with and whatnot, and dependencies and prerequisites for modules still existed. So based on all those complex licensing models and whatnot, customers really need to ask themselves, do I really need a license agreement review? Do I need to have my eBusiness Suite licenses reviewed? Again, the software's changed and license models have changed, and it's probably worthwhile to have a good understanding of how those licenses are being consumed today. So things that could warrant a need for a license review, right? Changes to a corporate structure, divestitures, mergers, acquisitions, etc., can really wreak havoc on Oracle eBusiness Suite licensing if you're not familiar with your contracts. Are you allowed to assign licenses to a different entity, the acquiring company, the divested company, etc.? Can we take our licenses and do that, right? There's misunderstanding, or if there's any misunderstanding or lack of understanding of Oracle's licensing policies and license agreements, you might want to have a license assessment done. Implementation of new software modules or business applications, right? If you're enabling new features and capabilities, right, we're paying for support, and with every release, we're getting all these new features and capabilities along with that new module capabilities. But we need to make sure that we're leveraging what we're entitled to and consuming it appropriately. So the other one is if we're expanding into new geographies, how do the contracts read? Are we allowed to have servers deployed into different territories, different regions, globally, etc.? How does that impact our eBusiness Suite licenses? So if customers are operating with an assortment of different license metrics, obsolete and current metrics, it might be worthwhile to review those, seeing if a migration is needed, or are we properly managing the obsolete license metrics that Oracle no longer sells, making sure that we're on top of that. Multiple order events through the years, and you're unclear about which license metrics apply. So through the 20-year history that we've kind of outlined for this scope, Oracle has introduced several different licensing models, and the definitions of the metrics have kind of evolved over time. So what do these metrics really mean? Do I really understand what those contracts and what those license definitions really mean? And the last one is if I have a ULA coming up for renewal, are we sure that we know what software is deployed and what modules are in use, et cetera, how many, et cetera, for our ULA recertification? So these are just some general items that customers have asked us in terms of helping them with their license reviews.